Predator was a screenplay written in the early 1980s by Jim Thomas, who roped in his brother John to add levity to an otherwise straight testosterone-fueled sci-fi action flick. The film, produced by 20th Century Fox, featuring the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Bill Duke, and Jesse Ventura, fighting a scary alien creature with high-tech weaponry and armory like invisibility and sensitive thermal sensing capability, saw the Predator of these highly skilled military missionaries in the tropical rainforest would be a major financial success and brought fame to director John McTiernan. The movie also created a lot of memorable zeitgeist and memes that lasted till these days. Stan Winston's design of the alien tribe, which would give the name Yautja, also left the indelible mark in the cinematic world as much as H.R. Giger's design of Xenomorph from the Alien franchise. The sequel to Predator 2, released in 1990 without Arnie and McTiernan, and brought the hunting alien to Los Angeles as we realized the hunting tribe fed on conflicts and select the true survivor from this fracas. The sequel from British director Stephen Hopkins had gratuitous body horror that nicely fit the franchise into the sci-fi slasher horror subgenre. It also had the Easter egg of the Predator within the same universe as the Alien franchise, with the skull of a Xenomorph in prize display in the Alien spaceship. Further sequels came in much later, with Nimrod Antal's Predators in 2010 and Shane Black, one of the cast in the original 1987 movie, making The Predator in 2018. Both movies embarked on the motley crew of characters in an attempt to survive the hunting rituals of the Yautja predators with reverence to the laws, but generally more of an action thriller. The shared universe with Alien also inspired Dark Horse Comics to produce a successful run of comic series that inspired 20th Century Fox to greenlight actual movies featuring two of their successful intellectual properties, the first with Resident Evil director Paul W.S. Anderson involved. The cross-pollination will continue even with Badlands. Predator Badlands came in the heels of a stealthy Predator feature from writer-director Dan Trachtenberg called Prey, starring Amber Midthunder, whom I had to keep reminding myself it was not Aubrey Plaza, in the leading role of young Comanche huntress Naru. In a patriarchal societal hierarchy in the 1700s, Naru was a skilled hunter, perhaps slightly pale in comparison to her elder brother Tabe, who was bestowed the title of War Chief and was fighting to be not stereotyped as the other female members of the tribe, while the males were out hunting and protecting against external threats. A Yautja warrior landed and looked for the greatest warrior in the land, in this case to be Tabe. A series of strange hunting ceremonies drew the interest of Naru and Tabe, and they could not sense the stealthy extraterrestrial predator creeping towards them. There was a scene of Naru being sucked into a quicksand pit, which naturally relived my childhood nightmare from Neverending Story. Trachtenberg then linked with an important plot element from Predators 2, with the French explorers in this sacred land and a pistol that would make its multiple appearances. The final showdown between Naru and the Predator made use of the landscape and the physical and mental agility of Naru with technology that would supersede the human race by thousands of years. Prey was a stunningly shot picture with a whole different setting we had seen in the Predator movie prior. If Prey was solely a period action thriller of the Comanche tribe battling outside forces or hunting animals, it would still be a great movie. Naturally, the film garnered stellar reviews and acclaims from critics and was well received and clocked a high viewership on both Hulu and Disney Plus platforms during its release in 2022. The success of Prey triggered 20th Century Fox to sanction the productions of not one, but two standalone Predator features with Dan Trachtenberg being involved. The podcast host and director of 10 Cloverfield Lane evidently is full of creative juices and passion to make genre movies, and highlighted the fact that he was a fan long before he was given the permission or the budget to make a legitimate fan film like what he had done with his short film for the game Portal. The first of these standalone films was titled Killer of Killers, an animated feature that was premiered on Disney Plus in June 2025. The story, which encompassed 4 segments like an anthology with the Yautja hunters seeking the most skillful warriors on Earth, transcending time and locations. There was Ursa, a Viking princess seeking revenge for her deceased father, Kenji, an exiled swordsman who battled his own brother before the Predator came looking for the victor, and we have John Torres, an American World War II fighter plane pilot who dexterously destroyed one of those Yautja spacecrafts. This trio of strange bedfellows will be abducted to the Yautja home planet and forced by the Grendel King to face each other, and the king will hunt down the survivor on his own. Killer of Killers was a well-plotted and well-made animated film that you can see Trachtenberg doing immense research and employed a brilliant choreography for the fight sequences, but it was the furthest from a sci-fi horror that the franchise was set out to be. Predator Badlands was released 5 months after Killer of Killers and had a theatrical run, selling on the Alien and Predator cross-pollination, as seen in the trailer with the memorable image of Elle Fanning as a Weyland-Yutani android being dismembered and covered with the semen-like goo, as we have seen from the likes of Ash and Bishop in the earlier Alien movies. The prologue involved our protagonist, a Yautja warrior known as Dak, who was regarded as a runt by his own father, and the father will send Dak's biological brother to execute him. The Yautja kinship actually meant something, and Dak was able to be spared and go hunt his Moby Dick, this time round the apex predator known as Kalix. On the home planet of Kalix, Dak will befriend the said dismembered android Tia, who made a deal with Dak to help her get back to her base to get repaired, as she will help him hunt down Kalix. It was apparent that Dak was a young Yautja warrior still finding his feet and lack of all the technology and abilities despite the bravado in a perilous land, and of course Tia played a part to help Dak to meander through the dangers. Aside from the strange creatures and cryptids infesting the planet, Tia's android sister, Tessa, was hunting them down with her army from Weyland-Yutani, with the ambitious android being conniving to net both Dak and the elusive Kalix as her specimens to earn a promotion from her company. In a strange twist of fate, Dak was channeling his inner Dutch from the original Predator movie and grind, crawl, and adapted to combat an insurmountable force while still aggressively going after his Moby Dick. Badlands was once again a solid sci-fi action thriller which distanced a lot since the inception of Predator, which stemmed in the space horror that Alien had generated, and the hunting ceremony which we still see recently in Prey, that the Predator would set targets on various members of a party, and like a slasher feature, we would see how each kill would outdo the preceding one. In that aspect, Trachtenberg and screenplay writer Patrick Eisen had created a novel way to tell a story of a Yautja warrior, albeit a fleshling one, and how odds were stacked against him to predate over a creature that would gobble him up at one swipe. The image of Dak carrying Tia on his back while facing adversity reminded me of the famed manga series Lone Wolf and Cub, and you can see from Killer of Killers that Trachtenberg is well versed of the samurai culture, and the honor the likes of Dak and his brother would reciprocate. There was no honor among thieves, in this case with the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, who at this point we were braced for them to be overzealous to get what they want and spoil the apple cart. Elle Fanning in the dual role of Tia and Tessa was giving a competent performance in the long line of androids, the last of which with David Johnson's Andy in Alien Romulus. Fanning also had that natural ethereal feel, and fresh off Hideo Kojima's Dead Standing on the Beach, which I wonder if it helped with her role here. A quick thought about director Dan Trachtenberg. Besides being a genre filmmaker who had enough reference to the pop culture and lore from the source material, with the nous not to go overboard with his fandom, I thought it was evident in his movies like 10 Cloverfield Lane, a dichotomy of a sci-fi horror as well as a human psychological horror, and in Prey, that we can see how he is competent in making use of the setting to tell his stories despite the limited amount of space. The same was sparingly showcased in Badlands, although I liked the scene with Tia trying to reconstruct the bottom adamant and limbs while Dak was having his long-awaited showdown with Kalix, where Trachtenberg balanced the tension and levity brilliantly. I have little idea how this new Trachtenberg-driven Predator franchise will go after this movie, but it felt very distant from the sci-fi horror that molded the earlier movies. I'm awarding Predator Badlands a 7.5 out of 10. How is 2026 treating you so far? There are already 3 to 4 horror features slated to release in January alone, so please subscribe to check out the individual reviews in due time. Don't forget to click the like button while you are at it. Like many horror fans, I was positively affected by the brilliance of It, Welcome to Derry Season 1 from the likes of Andy Muschietti and Jason Fuchs, so hope my review did justice to how I have enjoyed the series. It felt like Dan Trachtenberg was rousing up Predator franchise with plenty of connective tissues with the earlier films, so brace yourself for more of these Easter eggs moving forward.